I have a nice, safe, well-defined topic to discuss with you today, the world. When Martin spoke to me, he said, talk about what you think will be the biggest event in 2019. So, of course, huge trap right out of the gate. I'm going to get it wrong. Here's what I think is going to be the biggest event in 2019. The subject that is going to have a greater impact on you, your clients, your businesses, China. Now, I do know that 2 ministers have left the government over SNC-Lavalin. I do know that. I do know that there will be testimony this morning from the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister. I am aware. I do know there's some tragic farce going on called Brexit over the ocean. And when I think of March, by the way, Sangeeta, I think of the Ides of March, right? The rest of you think about March break, I think about the Ides of March. And I do know that India and Pakistan last week walked up the ledge towards some sort of confrontation with nuclear weapons. So I do know all that, but I'm going to stick to my guns that the big story for 2019, the one that is likely to have the biggest impact on you, on this country, on Canada, on our future, is China. Now, why do I say that? If you read about China, and if you've been to China, and I was just asking whether you've been, and you said yes, I don't know, how many of you have been? Okay, great. That's at least half the room. You know, China is stunning, frankly. You get off at a gleaming, clean airport, beautiful terminals everywhere. China has built 5 subway lines in the time that we've been talking about the relief line in this city. We'll probably build another 5, I'm convinced. You know, wonderful highways, and it has lifted 500 million people out of poverty in the last 35 years. So what they've done, frankly, is unparalleled, and they deserve a huge amount of credit for it. But what's beneath this story, and that's what I think is worrying many experienced China watchers. The first, when you look at the Chinese economy, the growth, the dynamism in the Chinese economy has come from what part, would you think? The private sector, right? And these are small and medium-sized businesses, not unlike the kinds of companies that you deal with. They have provided the dynamism, they've created the employment, and they led China to become the world's manufacturer, frankly, and their companies grew very large. But when we look at China today, what's happening? Those lumbering, clunky, unnimble, state-owned enterprises are now growing again at the expense of the private sector. That's, frankly, in the wrong direction. That's not where China needs to go if it's going to go through its transition. Secondly, and if you have business partners or you're in a supply chain that involves Chinese companies, what do you hear? And I hear this all the time. The Chinese Communist Party, just think, how many of you have management responsibilities? Or on a senior executive team? Well, here's the world that your counterparts are living in China. The Chinese Communist Party now has a representative on every senior management team. We think we have problems in Canada with political interference. Just imagine that one.